Hey guys, welcome to the third episode of the Book Nook. I'm your host Olivia Im, and I have such a fun episode planned for today, you guys. So I am going to be giving some summer book recommendations. Right now, when I'm filming this, summer is almost over. It's August right now, like the end of August, but this I recorded this episode on Spotify on June 25th, like late June. So yeah, by the time this is released, it's probably going to be September. But yeah, I'm just re-recording all 10 episodes from Spotify to video so my YouTube viewers can see my previous episodes. So I'm just saying that so you guys know, so you're not confused on why I'm giving summer book recommendations in September. This is why. It's because I'm recording my old episodes. So, okay, let's start with the first book. The first book is The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. If you watched my last episode, then you already know. I already talked about this on my last episode. But this book is a very good summer book. It's about Meredith Fox, whose sister, Claire, she died like a year before the book takes place, and her family goes to Martha's Vineyard every single year, every summer. As for a vacation, they have their own summer house there, and it's a family tradition, but it's very different now that Meredith's sister Claire isn't there. So the book kind of explores Meredith's grief, and she also falls in love with this guy, Wit, whose name I cannot stand because that's just a weird name, but anyway, she falls in love with this guy, Wit, who is a groomsman because there's a wedding there. Meredith's cousin Sarah is getting married at the Martha's Vineyard, so that's why the whole family's there. And yeah, Wit is a groomsman, and everyone plays this game, Assassin, with like water guns and water balloons and stuff like that. It's very interesting. I do like the plot. What I will say about this book though is that it's not really creative or original. I hate to say it, guys, but this book is very it very much lacks the creativity because I found that most of these summer books are very similar. The format of the books are exactly the same with no originality, no creativity. Basically, every single popular teenage book, like teenage summer romance book, is the exact same. Like, the plot is basically the protagonist and her family, they all go on vacation to some place. They all have a summer house in some random location, so it's a tradition, like they go to that summer house every single year, and then the protagonist, she falls in love with a random guy, and then they start dating, and then they usually break up. There's usually some kind of conflict, some kind of like romance trope going on, so they usually break up for like 2 seconds, and then they get back together, and then they end up dating at the end. They live happily ever after, and that's just the same. That's just how all these books go. I think it's really easy to write romance because it's just so predictable. There were no plot twists in this one, unfortunately, and you guys know I do love a good plot twist. You know, those are the best, honestly, and that was kind of disappointing for this book, but I do think this book is better than the next books I'm going to talk about, so out of all the books I'm going to talk about for this episode, I recommend The Summer Broken Rules the most because it's just good. It's good for what it is. Honestly, yeah, it's not bad. It's not horrible, to be fair, but it's not the best. Yeah, I think I would rate it a 7 out of 10. So, yeah. But if you want some interesting books, if you want intriguing books with a lot of plot twists, then don't read this book. This book is good for just some fun, like casual, chill reading. Like that's what this book is for. Like when you're at the beach, outside in the summer, and you just want like a cute aesthetic summer vibes, like fun, chill book, then you should go for this book. But this book, I mean, I was not impressed by this book but I do think that her writing style is good. I liked that the pacing was fast, the setting was good. She definitely captured the summer aesthetic, so that's great. It was the mood of the whole book is very fun. It's very fun, casual, chill. So I do like that. I just don't like the characters that much. The characters felt very one dimensional, if I'm going to be honest. They were not complex at all. And honestly, the characters had no character development. Meredith is the exact same in the beginning to the end. Like, she does not change at all. It's just, again, another one dimensional character. Like his only character trait is that he's good looking and that's it. Honestly, he's not and he's funny, but like that's it. Those are his only character traits. So, I feel like you should have characters that are a little more complex or at least make them develop throughout the story because what's the point of reading a book if the characters are going to stay the same? That's boring. So, yeah, I know this book is very popular on book talk, social media, all that stuff. It's very popular with teenagers, so if you love this book, then that's great for you. This is not one of my favorites, but it's a good summer book, you know? I read this like every summer, so yeah, I think it's pretty good. Yeah, that is The Summer of Broken Rose by Kale Walther, and now I'm moving on to Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson. I talked about this book on my last episode. So if you watched my last episode, then you're already familiar with this book. This book is another young adult romance book, and again, it's the same exact plot. I feel like they copied, it's just the same plot with no original plot. She literally just copied The Summer of Broken Rules. She just switched out the characters' names, and that's basically it. And it takes place in a different place. It takes place in the Poconos Mountains. Again, the family goes there every single summer. It's a little family tradition to go on summer vacation to the Poconos Mountains. And similarly to The Summer of Broken Rules, in Second Chance Summer, there is a family member that dies. Her dad. Yeah, so her dad dies. The protagonist's dad has cancer and he dies near the end of the book. I actually forgot the protagonist's name. Let me check real quick. But her name is Taylor Edwards. Yeah, Taylor Edwards. So I thought The Summer of Broken Rules, I thought the characters in that book were already um not complex. I thought those characters were bad, but then I read this book and I realized the characters in this book are way worse. Way worse. Taylor is so annoying. Like, I usually try not to like roast the main characters that much, but for this book, I cannot help it. Taylor is actually so annoying. She is so dumb. Like, she doesn't understand like anything. She does not have any critical thinking skills. She is so dumb. I'm sorry. But first of all, she is a coward because she literally stabs her best friend in the back and she betrays her friend and she chooses her crush, her elementary school boyfriend, her little like 10-year-old boyfriend over her best friend. So that already shows you what kind of person she is. And then she goes back to the Poconos Mountains. She reunites with her former best friend and her former boyfriend. She sees them again. And she does nothing to try to fix the conflict. She does nothing to try to fix their relationships. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you're just gonna go back and be like, hey, I'm back, like nothing ever happened. You're just gonna completely ignore the fact that you betrayed both of them. You're just gonna pretend like nothing ever happened, forget everything that happened in the past. Just like, hey, what's up? Like, let's be friends again. Like, no, that's not how it works. That's not how it works in real life. You can't just do that. You can't just hurt people and then just like act like nothing happened. That's not how it works. And Taylor is literally also a coward because she is so scared to confront people. She's so scared of confrontation. She's so scared of talking with people. She does not communicate at all. She does not communicate her feelings. She doesn't even talk to these people honestly. So, like, what's even happening here? Like, she can't communicate, she can't resolve conflicts, and she doesn't know how to act like a mature human being. She's acting like she's 10, and she's not. She's like 17. and you're acting like that. You're acting like a little kid. Like, I'm sorry, but that's not how it works in real life. You need to solve your problems and solve conflicts and figure out uh how to like act. You have to figure out how to resolve conflicts and fix relationships. That's how it works. And she doesn't do any of that. She is so scared of everything. She's like scared of her former best friend and her former boyfriend. She's too scared to approach them, too scared to talk about what happened. She's too scared to apologize. She is a coward. She just runs away. She admits it too. She knows she's scared. She knows she's a coward because she just runs away. She's just like, no, I'm not going to deal with it. I'm just going to avoid everything and act like nothing ever happened. I'm sorry, but you can't be doing that. That's not how it works. Like, everything she did, all the decisions she made, I was so mad. I was so mad. Like, I was so angry because why would you choose to make those decisions? I don't understand. You're supposed to be smart. You're supposed to be mature enough to figure things out. So that is why I was not a big fan of Second Chance Summer because the characters were so irritating and they just couldn't talk to each other like mature adults and figure out their problems. So not a big fan of Second Chance Summer. This is a book I'll read when I'm really bored, like once in a while in the summer. I'll just read it because I'm bored, and that's the only reason why I read it. Same with the Summer Broken Rules. If you're looking for a little fun, cute, funny summer book, then read Second Chance Summer. If you're just looking for like a fun, entertaining story, if you're looking for entertainment, then just read Second Chance Summer and the Summer Broken Rules. If you're looking for books with like a meaningful theme and deeper symbolism and meaningful books, then don't read these. But it all just depends on what you like. But I would recommend these two books for just like fun summer reading, not for like I would never read these books to learn anything from them because they're not meant for learning. They're not meant for like meaningful themes and meaningful lessons. That's not what these books are. These books are meant purely just for entertainment, like solely for entertainment and just for fun, like nothing else. So, yeah, you're not gonna find any deep meanings with these books, but I mean, you will find a cute little love story, cute little plot, fun entertainment. So, these books are great for that. So, I think it serves its purpose. I think these two books are good for what they are. They're good for their genre. They're definitely better than other romance books I've read, so I gotta give them some credit for that. But if I did not like Morgan Matson's writing style in Second Chance Summer, let me just say, her pacing is way too slow. The first half of the book, nothing happens. The exposition is so slow. I'm like, when are we getting to the action? Like, all the background information was just like useless. It was just like, it was dumb. Nothing, and like, nothing interesting happens until the middle of the book. And this book is almost 500 pages long. It's so thick. Look at how thick this book is. The Summer of Broken Rules is thin. Like this compared to this, like this book, you would think that with a bigger, thicker book, you would think that the plot would at least be interesting to compensate for like a longer book. But no, no, the plot isn't even that good. So it doesn't even make up for the like 500 page book that doesn't like it's so long for no reason. At least if you're gonna have a long book, then at least make the plot interesting, make it intriguing. Like I didn't even want to finish this book. This book was so boring it almost put me to sleep. Okay, it wasn't that boring. Like only the first half was boring. The first half was boring. I just wanted to give up and just like put the book away. I wanted to like just stop reading, but I forced myself to finish it. I got through it and the plot was exactly as I predicted. I predicted the whole plot. I predicted the ending when I was like on the fifth page of the book when I was in the beginning. And I was right. Like my predictions were right because I know the pattern of these books. They're all so predictable because the authors just don't want to make an original plot for once. So yeah, I don't think the pacing needed to be that slow. They could have definitely sped things up. Like I'm like, when is the plot actually gonna start the rising action? Why are we still in the exposition with like nothing's happening? Like the first scene is just like we're at the kitchen, we're eating dinner. Look who came back from school. Taylor came back from school. And like guys, the parents are like, "Oh guys, we're actually going to the Poconos Mountains for the summer to have a last summer with your dad." And then the kids are like, "Yeah, let's go." And then nothing happens. It's just like them eating dinner. That's the whole first scene. Like, you're gonna take up like 10 pages just talking about nothing. It's all filler words. Like, at least have some sort of interesting thing. At least the first scene should at least be intriguing. It should be hooking me in. It should make me want to read more. It didn't do that. It did not make me want to read more. It made me want to stop reading. It made me want to give up and just like stop reading. But yeah, that is why I was disappointed with this book because I had higher expectations. I thought this book would be better, but it was not. Yeah, but except for the pacing, I think this book also it lacks some character depth. The characters are very two-dimensional, no depth, not complex, just like Taylor's just a regular, ordinary teenage girl with no hobbies. She's a very boring character. She has no hobbies, she doesn't have any interests, she doesn't have any passions, she doesn't like who even is she? She's just a random teenager. She's just an ordinary girl that does nothing. She does nothing. No hobbies. No, no. Just so boring, so bland. She's like the vanilla ice cream of characters. Like, who wants vanilla when you could have chocolate? Like, she's just boring. Like, there's no flavor. There's no, like, stuff. Like, at least make your characters interesting if you're gonna force me to read a 500-page book about nothing. Nothing happens. All that happens is, oh, they go to the Poconos Mountain. She reunites with her friend and her boyfriend. She starts dating Henry. She falls in love with him. They break up, obviously. And then they get back together the next day, obviously. And then her dad dies, and that's it. That's what happens. She and Henry, her boyfriend, they live happily ever after, and that's it. And she becomes friends with her old friend that she betrayed again. So that is the whole book in a nutshell. Yeah, I just want to save you time. I want to save you like 2 hours of reading and 500 pages. Yeah, the plot is kind of, there's a lot left to be desired, but I mean, I think Morgan Matson did a decent job. I've read a lot worse books, so I mean, I would rate this a 7, maybe a 6 out of 10 because it was kind of worse than the Summer Broken Rules. So, yeah, 6.5 out of 10. Yeah, read this book if you want to, though. I'm not. This book, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't the best. I wouldn't choose to read this book. I only read it because I was super bored, and yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that. So, alright, now moving on to the last few books, the Summer I Turned Pretty series by Jenny Han. Oh boy, do I have some thoughts about this series. So, I read this whole series last year? No, 2 years ago. Yes, I think it was 2 years ago when I first read this book series, and honestly, this book was, I thought that, okay, so I thought the characters in Second Chance Summer and the Summer Broken Rose, I thought those characters were bad, and then I read The Summer I Turned Pretty, and then I'm like, oh, I didn't know it could get worse. I did not know the characters could get worse. So that's the part I don't like the most about The Summer I Turned Pretty because why are all the characters so unlikable? Why are they so unlikable? And I had very high hopes going into this series. I had such big expectations for this. I thought it was going to be an amazing series since everyone was talking about it. It's such a popular series because of the TV show. Like all my friends were like, "Did you watch the Summer I Turned Pretty TV show?" And I was like, "No." Like when the first season came out, I had never heard of the books. I never heard of the Summer I Turned Pretty, and then it became super popular on TikTok and social media. So all my friends were talking about it. Everyone and their mothers were talking about what a great show and what great books they were. So I was like, okay, let me give it a try. Like I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a chance. And then I was very disappointed because of all the hype and all the attention it was getting on social media and how popular it was, I just assumed that this book series would be really great, which it wasn't. So that is very unfortunate. I think the series had a lot of potential. It did not live up to that potential, unfortunately. The the plots for the books were okay. I think they could have been executed a lot better, but that's just my opinion. So for the first book, let me just give you a summary of the first book. So the first book, it follows the exact same format as the other books I've talked about. So Belly, who is the protagonist. Again, I don't like the names. I don't like the name Belly. Why would you name your protagonist Belly out of all the names? Like her real name is Isabella or Isabel. You could have just kept the original name. Like that's already a pretty good name. That's a nice name. And then no, you had to make her name different. You had to make her stand out. You had to name her Belly. Belly. Belly, whatever her last name is. Conklin. Belly Conklin. You had to name her Belly? Ew. I do not like that name. But anyway, so Belly is the protagonist, and her whole family, they go to the summer house in Cousins Beach every year, as usual. They have a little summer house there. They spend the whole summer there every year, obviously. So yeah, it's your typical summer teen romance book. And of course, there is a love triangle. So Belly is in love with Conrad Fisher, who is the son of her mom's sister. No, her mom's friend's son. Yeah, he's her mom's friend's son. So the two families, the Fisher family and the Conklin family, they both share this summer house at Cousins Beach because the Fisher mom and the Conklin mom, they're best friends, Susanna and Laurel. They've been best friends for like forever since college. Yeah, so they've been friends for years. So that's why they share the house together. And yeah, so Belly has a huge crush on Conrad. She's had a crush on him for like 10 years since she was a little kid. And Jeremiah, Conrad's brother, he really likes Belly. So there's that whole love triangle, complicated love triangle because yeah, Belly just doesn't like Jeremiah. She thinks of him as just a friend, but he really likes her. So she kind of has to choose between the brothers, and that's why there's the whole Team Conrad versus Team Jeremiah thing. So when I read the first book, I did not like it initially. I thought it was horrible. I thought it was pretty bad. I just read it and I was like, what is this? Like, what is the point of this book? Like, what is the theme of this book? What is the purpose of the book? Like, books should all have some sort of purpose. Books should all have some sort of theme, like a lesson that you learn from it. But this book, just like all the other books, just like both of these summer books, it had no theme, no message, no purpose. It's solely just meant for entertainment. It's just a fun book. And there's nothing wrong with like books like that. I think those books are great, like the books that are meant for just for fun and entertainment. There's nothing wrong with those books. I think those books are great and I think those books are needed, but those books are not the type of books that I usually like. So that's just my personal like preference. But the first book is kind of boring, honestly. Nothing interesting happens because the love triangle isn't fully at its climax yet. The love triangle is only starting, it's only beginning. So that's why there's not a lot of action in the first book. So yeah, and in the first book, I was initially Team Jeremiah. I was Team Jeremiah because he just seemed like a better fit for Belly because they're both immature and they have similar personalities. Like both of them are very funny and carefree, lighthearted, and kind of a little shallow, but not that much. So, and I was not Team Conrad at all. I did not like Conrad because he was so unlikable. I mean, all the characters were unlikable, but especially Conrad. Conrad was very unlikable in the first book and in the first season of the show because so basically, this book series, it follows the exact same format that all teen summer romance books do. So yeah, they went to the beach house, right? But then there's always has to be one member of the family that is sick. Like in Second Chance Summer, the dad was sick. In Summer Broken Rules, the protagonist's sister died. So there always has to be one member of the family that is sick and eventually dies. So in the Summer I Turned Pretty series, that was the Fisher's mom, Susanna. Susanna, she has cancer. So that she has cancer in the first book and in the first season of the show. So because of that, Conrad was going through a lot of emotions. He was going through a lot mentally and emotionally. He was just not in a good place. He was very that's why he kind of isolated himself in the first book, and that's why he was so emotional and moody and antisocial. He was not social at all. He just sort of was navigating those emotions from his mom being sick. Jeremiah handled it very differently though, because Jeremiah just kind of was even more funnier than usual. He had a very fun personality. He didn't really change his personality like Conrad did. So that's why in the beginning, Jeremiah is way more likable than Conrad, because it seems like Conrad just had no interest in Belly. He didn't like her at all, and every time Belly tried to, every time she tried to like talk to Conrad, he would just kind of ignore her. So, yeah. So that is why Conrad was like that in the first book. That's why he was so unlikable, is because of his mom's cancer. But then moving on to the second book of the series, the second book was pretty bad, actually. I thought it was worse than the first book, so yeah, honestly, the second book was kind of boring. I don't remember the plot that much. It was a pretty not a memorable book. Honestly, all that happens is Conrad runs away. He leaves college to go to the summer house because he wants to save the summer house because his dad is trying to sell the house because Susanna died. Susanna dies, I think, in the beginning of the second book. Yeah, she died. Obviously, so super predictable, but she dies, and Conrad and Jeremiah, they're like grieving a lot, and their dad wants to sell the summer beach house because of the mom's death. He just doesn't think that they need the house anymore. Yeah, Conrad, when he found out that his dad was planning on selling the house, he runs to Cousin's Beach. He goes back. He tries to convince his dad not to sell the house. And then Jeremiah calls Belly and he's like, "Yo, Belly, Conrad ran away. We had to go help." And he was like, hey, Belly, like, come help me convince Conrad to go back to school or something like that. And then Belly was like, "Oh yeah, like let's go help save the beach house." Like they did not do anything to help save the beach house. That was all just Belly's mom, Laurel. She was the one that ultimately convinced Jeremiah and Conrad's dad to not sell the beach house. The kids did absolutely nothing. They were so unhelpful. They contributed nothing, nothing at all. They did nothing while they were at the beach house. All they did was get drunk and throw a big party at the house, and that's all they did. So yeah, they were acting like heroes. They were like, "Oh, we're gonna save the beach house." They did not do anything. But that's besides the point. So same with the first book. The second book, the love triangle isn't really explored. The love triangle isn't the main focus of the plot. It's just saving the beach house. I mean, yeah. And then, okay, wait. Yeah. So for the second book, I wasn't I think I was still Team Jeremiah because even though Conrad was better, like he wasn't antisocial anymore, like he was nicer, he wasn't like as mean anymore. I was still Team Jeremiah. I was still Team Jeremiah because Jeremiah's personality is really he's really funny, he's really fun, and he is pretty chill. He's not like Conrad who was kind of like antisocial. So I thought that Jeremiah was perfect for Belly because he just seems like the type of friendly and fun and nice guy that Belly would want. So that's why I was Team Jeremiah for the second book. So yeah, and I also forgot to mention that in the second book, Belly and Conrad dated and they went to Belly's prom together. They dated for like a little while, for like 6 months. They didn't date for a whole year. They dated for a few months and then they broke up. But you can still tell Belly has always liked Conrad since the beginning, since the first book. It's always been Conrad. She's never even thought about Jeremiah. But at the end, no, either at the end of the second book or the beginning of the third book, she dates Jeremiah. So that's already crazy. For the third book, she dates Jeremiah, and now at this point, she's in college, Jeremiah's in college. They're both at the same college, and when she is 18, when she finishes her senior, no, not her senior, when she finishes her freshman year of high school, Jeremiah, he cheated on her, which is already a red flag. That's already really bad. So he cheated on her while they were on a break, while they were broken up for like 2 days. He cheated on her while he was on vacation in Cabo, and then when she finds out, she's obviously like furious, as she should be. She's really mad, and she is just so mad about that. She never imagined that Jeremiah would do that to her, and yeah, so after he cheated on her, he he proposes to her. And that's already really crazy. That's so insane because who in their right mind would do that? I don't understand why he would do that, but he's also like really immature, so it kind of tracks. But yeah, so he cheated on her, and then she forgives him. She doesn't break up with him for some reason. I guess, even though she was really mad about the cheating, I guess she was like, that's not a deal breaker. Like, I'll still date a cheater even after you know that he's not a good boyfriend, even after you found out that he literally was not loyal to you at all, you're still not gonna break up with him. She still stays with Jeremiah, which is a stupid decision, but she stays with him, and then when she forgives him, the second she forgives him, he's like, "Will you marry me?" Like, what? Are you insane? And then the crazier part is that she said yes. Why would you say yes to a proposal from a cheater? Why would you do that? Like, are you thinking clearly? Do you have any thoughts? Do you have any brain cells? Like, why would you do that? What's the point? Why would you, like, I understand, like, forgiving him, that's fine. Like, you could forgive him, I guess. But you should not continue dating him and definitely don't marry him. Like, I would have just, like, I would have forgiven him, like, okay, I forgive you, and then I would have just left. I would have dumped him and obviously not marry him because she is 18, he is 19. In the TV show, they made their ages older. In the book, she was 18, almost 19. It wasn't her 19th birthday yet. She was 18, and he was 19. She was like going into her sophomore year of college. But in the TV show, they made her older. They made her 21, and they made him like 22. And I'm like, no, you have to keep the ages the same to have the same effect to make everyone like know how crazy it is because why would anyone get married at 18? Like you, first of all, you're not even mature or responsible enough to be in a real relationship, first of all. Second of all, there's cheating involved in the relationship and that is never okay. And third of all, like you're not even like actual adults yet. You're not even real adults. Like you're probably still on your parents' cell phone plan. Like you probably you probably don't even like have a real job. They're not full adults yet. They don't even have any financial stability. You're broke. You're broke. You don't have enough money for a wedding. You don't have any of that. You don't have anything. And also, both of them are super immature. Both of them, they don't even know themselves. Belly doesn't even know herself yet. She doesn't even like maybe work on yourself first. Maybe get to know yourself first. Maybe love yourself first before you get into a serious relationship. Before you get married, you should like love yourself first before you love other people. And that's just my opinion, but like I feel like that's just common sense. I feel like when you're a teenager and like before you get married, you should definitely figure out who you are first before you get married. And obviously, don't marry a cheater because if he did it once, you know he could do it again. You know, like while you're married, like he's definitely gonna cheat on you again. Like, don't say I didn't warn you, Belly. And yeah, both of them act like children, so they're basically little kids that are trying to get married. And do you even know what love is? Like Belly and Jeremiah, they don't even know what love is, honestly. Like half the time it's just lust. It's not even actual love. It's not like real love. Like you can't just commit to a person. You can't just commit to being married to that person for the rest of your life. When you don't even know real love, you don't know what a serious relationship looks like. You don't know how to communicate well. You don't know how to do anything. You're only 18. You're barely an adult. Like you were 17 last year. You're still a teenager. You still have a lot to learn about yourself, um relationships, about marriage. You still have so much to learn. You still have so much to grow. Your brain's not even fully developed. Like it's literally just the hormones. Like you're not fully developed. So maybe wait until you graduate college to marry him. Again, for this book, I was just screaming. Like I was so mad at Belly for being so dumb and reckless to marry this guy that you dated for like a year. You're really gonna marry a cheater. Like, that is not okay. Why would you do that to yourself? Like, you know that he cheated and you're still gonna date him. So that is crazy to me. That is insane. I do not understand Belly at all. Like, she annoys me so much. She's an even more annoying character than the character in Second Chance Summer. Like, I don't even understand. I don't understand Belly. I don't understand why she can't make rational decisions. I don't know why she just makes these decisions without thinking about it. She's just like, oh yeah, sure, I'll marry you, Jeremiah, without thinking about it for a second, without actually using critical thinking skills. She's like, oh yeah, let's get married. Like, it's not a big decision. It's just like, yeah, I don't need to think about it because it's not a big decision. It's not like I'm gonna be with him for the rest of my life. It's not like I'm choosing the person I want to be with for the rest of my life. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. We'll just have a wedding with no money, with no budget, with $0 in my bank account. We'll just get married. Like, yeah, it's so easy. It's so easy to do that. And I'll just marry him even though he cheated on me. Like, I love getting married to cheaters. Like I don't know what she's doing, but yeah. And for the third book, I was definitely Team Conrad. I was Team Conrad all the way. And same with the TV show. Even though I don't like that they changed a lot of things in the TV show, but for the TV show, the third season, it just came out last month. And I'm totally Team Conrad for this. And also, what annoys me the most is that while they were in the process of getting ready for the wedding, like while she and Jeremiah were planning the wedding, Belly literally was still in love with Conrad. She literally said, and she thought, and it says in the book, she was like, I will always love Conrad Fisher. She said, like, he was my first love, and I will never forget that. One part of me, one piece of my heart will always be in love with Conrad. I'm like, if you love him so much, then dump Jeremiah and just go date Conrad. It's not that difficult. It's not that hard. Like, Belly is the problem. She is the problem. She's the reason why she can't find a good relationship. She's the reason why she can't get a good boyfriend. It's because she is annoying and she makes everyone's life way harder than necessary. She literally ruins Conrad and Jeremiah's relationship. She destroys their whole family because she's too indecisive. She can't choose who she likes more, Conrad or Jeremiah. She can't choose. She's so she's so indecisive. Like, you can't just go back and forth between Conrad and Jeremiah. That's so unfair to them. You can't just like play with their feelings. You can't just like objectify them and like treat them like that. That's horrible. Like, you should not be doing that. But Belly literally did. She treats dating like it's all just one big fun game. Like, oh no, I'll date this brother 1 second and then the next minute I'll date the other brother, acting like you're not ruining their relationship with each other. Like, they literally fought, like physically fought. They were beating each other up over Belly. Why would you fight over this girl? She's a child. She's so annoying and she's crazy. So why would you fight over her? Like, she is making the conflict between the brothers so bad. She's actively just like ruining their good relationship. She should just remove herself from the picture, like take herself out of the picture, just go find any other guy to date. Any other guy to date than the two brothers. Or better yet, just don't date at all. It's just like for a few years, just like be single and just like figure out who you are and what you're looking for in a boyfriend. Figure out what your standards are and what your type is. Figure out who you actually are and what kind of person you're looking for. Don't just date all like willy nilly, just like whoever. Don't just date like for fun. Date with like a purpose. So I don't understand that. But yeah, so I'm so mad that Jenny Han made Jeremiah a cheater. Like, why would Jenny Han do that? If I was the author of The Summer Turned Pretty, I would not make Jeremiah a cheater because that ruins the whole character. You could have made him a good character, but no, you wanted to make him a cheater and you completely ruined Jeremiah for me. I was all team Jeremiah the first two books. I was fully supporting him. I thought he and Belly were so cute. I thought they were such a cute couple, and then you ruined him. You completely ruined their relationship by making him a cheater. Why would you do? I'm so mad about that because he would have been such a great character. He was a great character before he cheated. But no, like he was just like drunk and he just cheated. Like that's so that's so bad. Why would you do that? And I just don't like that. And I will never forgive Jenny Han for doing that. So I'm very mad about that. So honestly, Jeremiah cheating was the only reason I switched to Team Conrad because I feel like Conrad is definitely a lot more mature than Jeremiah. Conrad is objectively, in general, just a better person than Jeremiah. He is more mature. He is very responsible. In the third book, you could tell that he has really developed a lot as a character. He has grown so much. He really knows how to manage his emotions now. He has navigated the his grief from his mom dying. He navigated that really well and he has been so much better. Like he has improved a lot as a person. So he's just grown to be a great person. And in the third book, he was like cooking food and like cleaning the house and like working at his job, all responsible. He's like taking care of the like that is so great. That's so amazing. And I think it's really great all the character development he went through. I think he is like husband material for Belly. I think he is a much better man than Jeremiah because Jeremiah is like a little boy. Conrad is like an actual like mature, responsible man. So that's why I think Conrad is better for Belly. Even though to be honest, if I could choose, Belly would just end up single. She would end up single with no man, with no boyfriend. That's what I would do if it were up to me. But if I had to choose between Conrad and Jeremiah, it would definitely be Conrad because he is actually a good person and he's not a cheater. And not cheating in a relationship, that should just be the bare minimum. That's the standard. Like it's not that hard. But so yeah. That is why I am officially Team Conrad, and I'm very excited for The Summer I Turned Pretty for the last episode of the season to come out. I'm very excited to watch that, and yeah, for the whole Summer I Turned Pretty series, collectively, I would rate the whole series a 7 out of 10. I think the last book was the best book because she chooses Conrad, because she ends up marrying Conrad, so that's the best part, and she realized that she wasn't in love with Jer at all, and she finally chose the right man for once, and she was not indecisive anymore. So that's why the third book is the best book. And also just in terms of like the writing style, I think the writing was the best in book three. Book three. Belly didn't really change that much. She's still the same person she was in book one. She did not experience a lot of character development. Same with Jeremiah. He actually was the opposite of character development. He did not grow at all. He actually became worse as a character. So, yeah. Honestly, the only character I liked was Conrad because Belly's annoying and Jeremiah's annoying. And yeah, Conrad is just the best character. He's the only likable character in the whole series. He's the only mature person. He's the only character that is a complex character that isn't two-dimensional, and he's the only character that actually contributed something to the plot, and he's the only character that developed and grew. That's why Conrad is my favorite character. And yeah, the second book of the series is pretty bad and pretty boring. You don't need to read that. I wouldn't recommend that. The first book was okay. I would recommend that. Yeah. But I highly recommend the third book of The Summer I Turned Pretty, because even if you haven't read the first two books, I think you could still read the third book and you would be able to understand most of it. So I recommend the third book of the series, and I would give the third book a solid 7 out of 10. So yeah, those are all of the summer books that I liked. Well, kind of liked. Those are all the summer books I recommend, and I'm done ranting for now. I've ranted a lot about why I don't like some of these books, but that brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, then tune in next week for the next episode, and make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down below. Also follow the official Book Nook Instagram for more fun content. I'm your host Olivia Im, signing off.